Hello, Gabriel.
Howdy, Josh. How you doing?
Good, man. I'm actually just getting back from the tech conference at ASAE out in DC. It was
DC?
awesome.
Yeah. How did that
So
go? It was a different format this year, right?
it was a different format. I thought they did a great job. I think people enjoyed kind of the more relational communal time, which was really, really good. But hey, I want to throw you a curveball. We always get in these meetings and we talk about what are these features, and something was very interesting to me, and I want to tell a story about an experience I had on this trip, and I bet a lot of people can relate to it. You briefed me before, and you were like, we can talk about APIs and wait lists and all these things, and those are great, and they're
Yeah.
super important. I mean, APIs make everybody's life easier. Stronger wait lists make everybody's management of a product easier. But I want to shift a little bit to a question I kept getting an experience at. Me and one of our sales reps met with a potential client, this amazing, wonderful human being. And we were sitting down talking, and she goes, I've got to get my community engaged. And she goes, talk to me. And so we talked a little bit about the different stakeholders in their community. And really, I said, let me just walk you through what I think community engagement looks like. And I'm getting to a point because I know this is a features call. And so I'm going to get to a point, an
All right.
aha moment at the end. And I won't belabor this. It was very simple. You've got to have what I call an indoctrination course. It's a lightweight thing that reminds people why we're here. And whether somebody's a new member or an old member or a member that needs to be reminded regularly of like, why are we here? It's in the marketing world, they call it an indoctrination series, where they kind of indoctrinate you on like why we're here. And I said, the first thing we want to do is, why are we here? And to remind people why we're here, why do you think companies spend billions of dollars in marketing? To
Right.
remind you
Yeah.
that Coke is a family brand and Pepsi is the choice of the next generation. And it's, you're reminding them why we're here. And I said, you got to have a platform that can give you a micro experience that has that next level learning vibe, so that you can indoctrinate. The second thing is horizontal and communal experience of saying, look, we've got to not just be able to interact from the top down, but we've got to interact side by side. So we've got to be able to have conversations horizontally, not just vertically. We've got to have smart forums where we can actually follow the things we want to. We want to, I don't want to get junk thrown at me I don't need, and I don't want to go have to search for things I do need. I want it to be smart and just on-demand great stuff. I'm like, if you offer that 4 little package, you're going to get people to come in and go, man, I love that I can quickly be reminded of like what's important. I love that I can be connected in virtual environments to horizontal learning. I love that I can follow and find what I want. And I love that there's a trove of meaningful things. These 4 little things. So she looks at me and she goes, I want to execute that. Like, I want to bring that to our people. And I'm like, yeah. And so our sales rep goes, so she goes, I want to bring my CEO in because actually this is a little bit bigger vision than we had kind of thought about. We were just kind of talking about community forums and stuff, but I knew I needed a bigger vision and a future vision. And our sales rep says, hey, I know you want to get your CEO in later, but we have a meeting later this week. Why don't I get on that meeting with you and show you all of our features? And I won't call it our sales rep, so I'll call this person Ricky. She said, Ricky, I don't care about all your features.
Yeah.
I care if you can solve that problem and build that opportunity I just heard.
Yeah.
And maybe you're watching this series right now and you're going, do you ever feel like you get sold a bag of features when really you need a vision and a strategy to reach your community? And I'll tell you, I mean, the biggest tech apps in the world have 1/1000th of the features that people are buying. What they have is a thoughtful, laid out strategy. And so I just want to remind, we always do features and we always will. But I sat with that client in DC and I thought, isn't that true? Isn't that where we all are? We're like, dude, I don't want to buy a bag of features. I want to provide a meaningful engagement strategy that moves the needle, that says when renewals are up, people are going, I'm getting intrinsic value out of this. That if I couldn't make annual, I still get so much value from this organization. And, even internally, if you're listening to this, we have all these arguments on pricing. Well, there's more features here, so we have to price ourselves less. And I'm always scratching my head going, are we selling features or are we selling success, and engagement.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a reminder for people. Now, does the product have to deliver awesome APIs and great wait lists and great front end tools? You got to. And I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying, let's not miss the forest for the trees in the tech world, and you know, try to sell features rather than sell success.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's that interesting thing, like coming from the product side, right? You've got to build something that it's a tool. And a lot of times, like, you know, one of the things I think is interesting, I've heard, you know, people like, oh, we have this solution we can sell you. At some point, like, do I want a solution or do I want a tool? Like, I can do a lot more with a hammer, with a bag of tools than I can with a solution, right? Which is sort of this like, I don't, you know, exactly know what that does. But the tool, the platform is there as a tool to execute these strategies. And yeah, 100% it is. I think that, you know, the hard part with that is like, how do you come up with that strategy? There's not a one size fits all, right? And so how do you, you know, how does somebody take kind of that thing that you just talked about, and, you know, apply that across, like, make that for someone for their org?
Well, I think the number one thing is, you know, stakeholders. So like when I was talking to this individual, for example, I'm like, hey, who are your stakeholders? What do they want? And how do we deliver that? Like, let's just get real simple. Like, my stakeholders are, I mean, you could take any analogy, right? Like, my stakeholders are people that want to have black coffee every morning, Starbucks. Okay, that's they're people that just want to have a warm cup of coffee in their hand, but they also want this type of experience. This is how we're going to deliver it to them. And I think so often we're not thinking customers first. So, and for example, this company we walked to, and I don't want to give too much information, but they have 3 different stakeholders that ultimately their whole business is around bringing these 3 different types of stakeholders together to join teams to execute products or projects. So again, I don't want to give this away, but imagine we'll use Starbucks. Like, there's cup makers, lid makers, and sleeve makers, and none of them are all together. And this organization's like, hey, we've got a bunch of cup, lid, and sleeve makers, but they all need to come together to like execute this product, but they don't know where each other is. So we're like, okay, cool. Here's how we're going to identify them. Here's how we're going to put them together. And all of a sudden you're going, this isn't just a random community forum. Like, we know that you have multiple stakeholders. We know what they're trying to do together. Here's how our tools would do that. This is how we're going to drive engagement. Not get an RFP of 700 different things and going, yep. And then you launch this thing and everyone's like, what do I do? How is this bringing stakeholders together to solve this problem and push things to me and pull me in? And like, that's where we talk a lot about features. We don't talk a lot about stakeholders and strategies, when the truth of the matter is, you don't need all these features to get what you're trying to accomplish.
Or you need, I mean, they're sort of there, but they're table stakes, right? And it's a matter of like how you use them. I mean, you can have the feature there, and if it's not creating engagement or making it something that people want to invest their time into, well, then so what?
It's the truth. So I mean, it's just, to me, like, I think that if I'm, you know, watching this video and I'm doing what I do, I'm going, hey guys, love all the features, they're super helpful, but can you also talk to me about the so what? That now that I have all of this, just because I've, you know, got an automobile doesn't mean I know how to drive it or where I'm going. And so we spend a little bit of time sometimes talking about, hey, how do I drive this thing and where am I going?
Sounds like we got a new series we got to do.
Yeah, and honestly, dude, I was like, realizing after multiple conversations, nobody was asking me for new features. They were asking me for a better way to put them together and execute the outcomes. And, you know, and some of those features are because their platforms don't have true virtual connection. They don't have true AI matchmaking. They don't have intelligent design behind tags. So all this stuff that's kind of the bedrock of JUNO, like, they don't have it. So they're stuck just like open seas. But just because we have them, we also have to show people how to execute them and live on. I got to go, 9:15. But thank you for letting me throw you a curveball. I think this is going to be valuable for people. And hey, if not, we do these regularly.
We'll talk product again next week.
Thanks,
See you,
buddy.
Josh.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.